Oh, don't mind me, everyone. Just a storm god looking good, feeling good, all power. Hello, my fellow hunters. How are you getting on with, I hope well, I hope fun, I hope third thing positively. Today then, I want to bring you the ins and outs of Heaven Sent, Amatsu's new signature Sunbreak skill, and depending on the person, depending on the weapon, depending on the hunt, it is either kind of uselessly or ungodly brokenly powerful. And that in and of itself is quite interesting. Oh, and before we get anywhere near, statistical benefits, it does give you an absolutely badass wind aura, so that in itself might be enough of a reason to use it, because it really does look damn cool. So let's go through the ins and outs. Well, actually, let's not do that. Let's start with Amatsu's weaponry, as that's tangentially relevant to discussing what Amatsu is bringing to the table here. His weapons, as you probably know by now, boost the power of silk-bind attacks done with his weapons. That's exciting if it's significant. So, is it significant? Well, kinda. So, we have ourselves a 360 True Raw 390 attack test setup, and Adamant/Silkbind attack does 1071 damage. Cool, that is our baseline. We then switch to the Amatsu Greatsword, also 360 True Raw with 390 attack in this test setup, and then do said Adamant Slash, and we get 1227, and it means it's roughly about a 15% damage increase on Silkbind attacks done with Amatsu weaponry. Though it doesn't seem to be consistent. Doing the same test but with strong arm counter, the damage increase seems to be about 12% almost exactly. So it's in that region, 12 to 15, so it's still a significant bump, but it might be tuned specifically to the attack/weapon in mind, so your results may vary, but at the very least it is noticeable and it is appreciable and worth factoring into any potential build. Now of course the Amatsu weapons have minus 25% affinity, which means their 360 raw is about 338, so that's what you're comparing to, obviously unaugmented, which will add even more, but if we are then getting just a plus 12 to 15% damage increase, that does then take it up to about a 380 effective raw weapon without augmenting, which is fairly good. We also have the fact for Greatsword specifically to consider that you can no longer use build-up boost with Amatsu, as it's got element not status, so that's another 6 and a bit % damage on average that we're losing there. So basically what I'm saying is it's just going to take a lot of build by build, situation by situation calculating to work out if the Amatsu weapon becomes better for you thanks to the Silkbind boost, if Silkbinds are your primary damage source. Of course, the deep dive math, true new min-max for best builds will be worked out, and they are on their way. For now, just know that Amatsu weapons equals about a plus 12 to 15% damage increase on your Silkbind attacks, and, well, you can decide what that does for you. Let's move on then to the actual armor skill. Heaven Sent. And, well, it really is quite fun at the very least. Let's start then with level 1, because that makes sense. This will give you a one-time damage decrease when you take a hit after it's activated, but first we need to activate it. It takes 30 seconds of being in combat to make it happen. So from the first time you hit, from when that theme music starts playing, from when your palicos react to the battle, that moment where the monster acknowledges you, 30 seconds of not being hit after that, you will get Heaven Sent. Now that it's on, it will be on permanently for as long as two things are true. You remain in combat with the monster, and you don't get hit. If the monster changes zones, or you leave, or you stop fighting each other, the theme music stops, it just instantly goes away. If you get hit, you will gain the benefit of damage reduction on that hit, but it will also go away, and you'll need another 30-second warm-up time. While it is on, you will use half stamina, which is certainly useful, and when you scroll swap, it doesn't get rid of it or anything like that, but it will give you a huge amount of sharpness restored, like a significant amount, and you'll essentially never have to sharpen because of it, so that's definitely neat. The damage reduction itself then is about 50% from the hit that breaks you out of this, so yeah, also fairly significant. You can take quite the walloping if you need to, and ultimately it is a fantastic utility quality of life packed skill. Level 3 though is where it gets interesting. We'll skip level 2 because all it does is shorten the activation time, so let's touch on that. The activation time at level 2 and level 3 is 15 seconds-ish, which is about half of level 1. I say ish because I've had it be 14 seconds and I've had it be 15 seconds, an equal amount of time, so I might as well just say 14.5 seconds. The point is, it will happen twice as fast, and that's the important note to have here. And it should be noted that while it seems to be consistently about the 15 seconds for melee weapons, for bows and bowguns, it seems to be about double that, at just under 30 seconds to activate Heaven Sent. I guess they figured it's more potent on ranged weaponry, the reloading on bowguns and the infinite stamina on bows, so you have to not get hit for a little bit longer, and I guess it's easier to not get hit for a little bit longer because you're not next to the monster, and that's how it's balanced out. Now when it's activated, you'll still have the half damage taken on the hit that breaks it, you'll still have it drop instantly if you leave combat, but now we get infinite sharpness and infinite stamina. Now obviously, that has different value depending on what weapon you're using and what build you're using. If you're something like a Dual Blades, I mean, it's just kinda a little bit silly. You put on Evade Extender 3, you've got the full evade window from Save the Amatsu helmet, and you just become kinda unstoppable. You just dodge everywhere, you never run out of stamina, of course, you don't get hits. I imagine it's quite fun. Perhaps not optimum min-max meta DPS, but certainly amazingly fun. Same for bow. You essentially need to ask yourself a question when it comes to Heaven Sent, but we'll get to the question in a moment. First, let's address quickly the status removing part of this. So now when you switch status, you'll just delete negative effects on you for the most part. So Deadly Poison, now it's gone. No more Deadly Poison. Something like the Frenzy, however, you can't instantly overcome by swapping, but it will act as if you've taken a Nullberry and just delete the bar down, giving you essentially infinite time to beat the Frenzy, so it's still actually quite a nice companion to a Frenzy Bloodlusty-esque based build, and that's quite useful. So yeah, you're essentially unnegative statusable while Heaven Sent is activated at level 3, which is very much useful quality of life and worth considering. So, talking of worth considering then, we have a skill that means if you don't get hit for 15 seconds, you have infinite resources, even including you bowgunners, as your ammo will come back when you scroll swap, and you can use that to do, well, what it is you can use that to do. And therein lies that question I was talking about. Is this skill good for you? Well, can you A, consistently not get hit by the monster for 15 seconds? B, does having infinite stamina and infinite sharpness, and very much essentially infinite ammo, result in a significant enough damage gain and or ease of hunt gain for you to use 3 of this Amatsu's armor set and perhaps drop otherwise skills that you could get if you didn't use Amatsu's armor set, which admittedly are quite inefficient if you don't want Heaven Sent. There are good slots on it, of course, but you can do better with other pieces if we are ignoring Heaven Sent and just going for your usual damage skills that you usually get. So this really is a personal thing. If you really get a lot out of having infinite stamina, and you're confident you can generally not get hit very much, then yeah, Heaven Sent might prove to be, well, the best skill in the game for you. And I have a feeling we'll see some bow, dual blade, and perhaps a couple other weapons speedrunners use this to absolutely obliterate monsters so elegantly and effortlessly, and that will be really awesome. Whether us mere mortals can have the same use is another question entirely, but at least now you know how it exactly all works, and if that's very much worth it for you. For now then, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and, well, have fun being truly Heaven Sent. Goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.